All right, this next match review comes to us from a repeat submitter that we've seen many a time before, MrRumbleRoses, who has almost 3K hours of the game of Dead by Daylight, 2.952 to be exact, or 2,952 hours in the game of Dead by Daylight. So that puts you in a place where you should know most of your fundamentals. You should have relatively quick chases, be able to macro pressure the map, that sort of thing. You're playing the Knight, who is a very fun character for a lot of people, but also not the greatest. Most people put them like low B tier, high C tier. They have a very, very good macro heavy ability, and with some good like pincer attacks and other fun things you can do. You can even make the 1v1 a little bit better, but he kind of lacks a lot of oomph that a lot of characters have, even when played on like a high level. So just keep that in mind. Hi, Tay. You're also playing on Wretched Shop, which the auto-even maps used to be a lot more fair back in the day, but in recent times, because of palette density and the higher presence of God Rocks, it's a little bit harder to deal with a lot of the auto-haven maps, besides like maybe Wreckers than you used to, so that might be hurting you a little bit too. Let's go ahead and take a look at your add-ons and your perks. So you're using Blacksmith Hammer, which inflicts broken for 60 seconds if a guard gets a hit. The problem with this one and why I don't really like this one is because it's like the guards, like betting this entire add-on's existence on like the guard getting the hit is kind of the issue with it, because if you've noticed, a lot of the time that you try to do like a sandwich or like a pincer attack, whatever you want to call it, you're usually the one getting the hit there. It's like the threat of the guard is what leads into you getting the hit. So this just kind of creates a situation where like it's not that the event trigger for the add-on to activate is going to be extremely rare. So it just doesn't end up being worth bringing the add-on slot overall a lot of the time. And I know the other one is much the same way, and this one is the Ironworker's Tongs. This makes a survivor oblivious for 60 seconds when they escape a hunt. This I can see this working because it does make things a little more unorthodox, but this is once again, it's like hitting a survivor that's being hunted like doesn't trigger this. They have to escape. They have to escape that. So once again, that's kind of a similar situation of like, this isn't happening as often as you would like, which questions why you would bring the slot for the add-ons. So what would I run instead then, since what you're running is not something I would advise? Knight's Contract, you could run. This allows you to kick gens, walls, or pallets with your guards and still detect and chase nearby survivors afterwards. Brown's Watch Torch is a very, very popular one. This gives you undetectable during a hunt. So if you're looking for the kind of like the thing you're trying to pull off here, maybe to be a little bit more unorthodox with your approach, this is like the better add-on to do that with. Call to Arms still isn't bad. This allows you to send out guards faster and further, and even slightly outside of your terrace, which could be kind of give you that, get the drop on people. But that's kind of like what I would probably send you with instead. Your build is kind of all over the place. So I saw a vision with Discordance and Unforeseen, because you're like, you see yellow gen, which is going to be kind of confusing because your gen's already set to yellow. You're gonna see gen light up, and then you're gonna go kick it with Unforeseen, apply your terror radius to it, and then you're gonna become undetectable. Where I start getting confused is like the latter half of the build, because like you have nowhere to hide, which, you know, goes with Unforeseen, but Discordance is already telling you that there's at least 2 people nearby, so you already know people are there. So it feels like it's like it's not that any of these have like anti-synergy, it's just like you're doubling up on the same concept of like, I see thing, I come to thing, I kick it, and then I chase. You have 2 info perks to cover this, which it's already covered. And then lastly, I don't know why Surge is here. You have an entire build based around, I know if somebody's working on a gen or around a gen, and then I kick it. But if you're surging the gen, you can't kick it, which means you can't get Unforeseen or nowhere to hide value. So if Surge goes off, half your build's turned off. And then vice versa, if you kick a gen, it may apply, you know, the aura read and the unforeseen, and then you get surge afterwards, and then that's really nice. But you're not always going to be in that situation. Your build kind of has a lot of like conflicting missions going on when it comes to what you want to do. So I would lean more into, okay, we're going to be kicking gens here, or we're going to go more into gen damage, because having both at the same time doesn't really go, they fight each other, they don't go well together. And same thing with like nowhere to hide and discordance. It's not like I would get rid of one necessarily based on your preference of wanting a lot of info, but they do it is kind of a lot at the same time to do a very similar job, if that makes sense. So yeah, go ahead and take a look at the match. The add-ons and your build are kind of shaky, which makes me nervous going in. You get discordance value right away. Looks like it's a brighter yellow than the other ones. That's kind of hard to tell, but... Okay, one thing right away. Carnifex is the worst one to chase with. Carnifex is the worst of the three to chase with. If you want to just, like, chase with somebody, even if it's just to occupy them, you should do Assassin, more so if you want the hit, Guard if you want to, like, waste their time. You definitely don't want to be chasing with Karn. Hi, Red. How are you? Yeah, imagine if you had Karn here to shred this pallet, you'd be in a much better spot.
How did it do, dude? Damn it.
Luckily, Leon runs into that car there. Oh boy, he's a baby, Leon. Oh, God bless him. Okay, so you force him this way. That's fine. You got stuck, though. You had the right idea, but you got stuck. But see, that's exactly why I was talking about these add-ons earlier. It's like, your assassin's not going to get the hit there. Matter of fact, he'd even aggro to the guy. It's the fact that he wants to avoid that guard there, so he's going to leave and come over here, and now you get the hit. So this is an issue you have a lot. I had mentioned earlier you're a repeat submitter, and this is something that I routinely give you as advice, is you just like kind of like swing for the fences, and it's something you got to work on. Like this will, I don't want to say haunt you forever because that sounds really dramatic, but like you can't not learn to stop doing this. Like, sure, swinging every once in a while and getting spun, it happens to the best of us. But you routinely, match review after match review, like, this guy isn't even spinning you. He's just walking close to you, and you're just kind of, like, swinging at the fences. I don't know if it's, like, you need to be more patient, you need to back up and lunge, but you gotta stop wasting time swinging, like, wildly. Because it doesn't seem like it's a lot, right? Like you swing, you miss, and then it's like, you know, only miss like 2 or 3 seconds of like chase time. But 2 or 3 seconds could be them making a god window or making a god palette. 2 or 3 seconds happening a lot throughout a game can just bloat your chase time, and match time is gen time. You gotta get this under control. I think it doesn't make me mad when it happens, but it does make me slightly disappointed when I give the same takeaway like more than 2 times. Because it makes me wonder, like, are you actually taking this in? Are you listening to this? Because it's important. This is something that I've seen more than once in a match review for you that have caused you to have worse times in your game. Because I remember even back in the day, you've had more recent submissions. You used to submit like Skull Merchant match reviews and stuff, and this was still something you did back then too. And it's just like something you haven't worked on. So this is me staging an intervention. You gotta work on this. You gotta stop just like swinging for the fences and Hail Marying your swings. You gotta be more patient. You gotta. There's another one.
I'm short-handing.
But you do get a surge there, but then again that cancels your nowhere to hide unforeseen, so. So I get his struggle. Counterpoint. There are plenty of people who play console who don't do this. I understand, like, if this was like first time, right? First time this has been a like review, like a takeaway for them of like, hey, you should be more patient. You should be a little bit more careful. Yeah. If I was going this hard about it, I'd be like, Brant, you're going a little hard, they're on controller or whatever. But this has been a takeaway they have not addressed for multiple match reviews up until this point. And I know plenty of controller players that do not do this. I think the last thing this person needs right now, considering that this routinely affects their games and has for a really long time, is slack to be cut for them in this situation. I think you got to put your foot down. You got to say, other people on roller don't do this. You got to learn to not do this. It's tough love. Yeah, I don't know if like yellow is your favorite like color for the gens, but Discordance is making this really hard. Thankfully, in the next patch, I believe they are addressing this. There will be a special color for this for like gen activations, so you could change them to a different aura. But whew, right now it's confusing.
Fuck. I don't even know what that gen was.
Yeah, because you were in the guard placement thing. Yeah, you got to start using card kind of like... I think what I'm noticing right here is you don't know the individual uses of each guard. You're kind of setting them all as universally the same thing to either like search for people or get in chase with them. But you got to understand that like each guard has its own specialities that make them better or worse at certain tasks. Carnifex is more of like slam the gen, get a pallet out of the way really quick, and then you do the damage. You come in and clean up, right? You're kind of using them like Carnifex like the other two, which is... So you didn't get nowhere to hide, so you know they're not around. Unless something gave them a Lucid or something. Hi Amy, how are you? We're doing a match review. I don't know why you... Yeah. Hopefully I should have streamed yesterday went well. Okay, do keep in mind that he doesn't... Why would you do that? Why, if you only have one hook on the board, you need to be having chases like end quicker, that you're stopping to kick a gen midway. That was also, I think that's another thing that I gave you a match review takeaway for, was like stopping to kick gens instead of finishing chases.
Fuck. Like, goddamn, sounds like I had a fucking...
You just heard him get in the locker? Or somebody got in the locker. It wasn't him, it was somebody else. It was the other way, though. This was another thing that I also commented on the last match review at the same time, was that you seem to miss a lot of audio cues. And this was also something that I had said you needed to work on, was like, I don't know if it's like you're checking your phone midway, maybe like your headphones aren't the best. Like, it could be a lot of things that potentially causing that. But this was also another thing, is you were missing obvious audio cues as well. I don't know, I'm just kind of stumped. Because, like, these are all takeaways I've given you before. So I don't know why you're still doing them.
Someone just jumped in a locker.
I know you're obviously with, like...
Damn it.
Some of these have been repeats over... I know I gave all three of these to you in your Springtrap game you had sent me. But I know some of these I've given you more than once throughout, like, all the match reviews you've sent me, but you're still just doing them all, and I just I don't know, it stumps me.
It's like I literally could have sworn I saw someone jump in a damn locker.
You heard them, you just, once again, it's like I talked about in your Springtrap review, it's like you don't seem to, like, hear where it's coming from. Yeah, and you're still doing the thing you did last time, too, of, like, leaving chases way too early. That was a takeaway that I had given you. Like the first drop of like resistance, you're leaving chases. What do you think about dry kicking a gen mid chase? You shouldn't. Unless you had like a pop that was about to wind down at like a crucial point. I think it's very rare to find a moment where I would be like, yeah, drop the chase and getting like the down just to get perk value. Maybe you should get the hit here. Sorry about that, by the way. We were out of snoozes. You leave chase again to go kick the pallet, and now you're leaving the chase entirely. Okay, you gotta down them. You can't win the game if you don't ever down the survivors. This was something that was happening in your Springtrap game as well, which is also something that I gave you advice during your Springtrap game for. Is like, I get that like committing to too long of chases results in games being like aggressive losses. But you were doing the opposite in that last match review too, where it was like the moment somebody would drop a pallet, the moment somebody would loop in a way you didn't expect, you would just leave the chase. And ended up in a situation where like you had played the whole game and you had not like really downed or hooked anybody. Thankfully in that game, they threw the game and you got the W. But like this game is kind of what I was referring to in that Springtrap match review. That's like, this is probably more the results you're going to get if you continue to make these mistakes. Because if they're not making big mistakes themselves and snowballing for you, never committing to a chase and never downing anybody is going to result in games where like they're just kind of like slamming the gens and you're doing nothing. So that's why I was saying that, because now you're experiencing it. There we go. Sorry, didn't mean to back. Oh, hit the microphone.
I think he's probably gonna be a GG.
Probably. I think the only like even it's the thing is like
I only got 2 hooks.
I'm trying to make like excuses here of like, oh well, maybe they recorded these like at the same time, so they haven't, by the time that they had played this game, they haven't got the takeaways from the other game. But then again, like some of these I've given them in a previous match review way before this one, so that you can't even say that. So I don't know. This one's a confusing one for me. Why we don't chase with Carnifex, by the way. As you saw, he chased for like 2 seconds and he was gone. Much better used breaking something. Yeah, if you want to like hit the gen or hit a pallet, like use Arn. But if you're wanting to do like kind of like a very, very mini kind of like gen blocking effect, technically they take forever to kick the pallet or kick the gen. So you could like force somebody into a lose-lose situation at a loop. You could prevent a gen that's nearly about to complete from being just a tiny bit longer. Now, this is a minor thing, but typically you want to chase the opposite direction of your guard. You don't want to chase alongside them. Chasing with the guard, what makes it good is it forces the survivor into a darn if I do, darn if I don't situation. There you go. But if you just chase the same direction, there's like no threat. Yeah, you're leaving the chase again. You gotta commit. You gotta commit to something. You can't just the game doesn't win itself by the survivors just staying up and never getting down. Yeah, they're gonna stop and kick it again, and he's gonna get away again. Okay, thankfully he got greedy. So he's staking nearby. Unfortunately, he has a pallet, so not ideal. Kind of blocked yourself there, if anything.
You mean it lifts them. Oh, hi.
Look at my message. No, you're fine. The reason I do them live is because there's stuff I may not know, whether that be from a character expert perspective or like just some takeaways I hadn't thought of. I'm one individual. I do have a lot of hours in this game. I have almost 10K, but can't know everything. So it helps to have a bunch of other sets of eyes to help catch things that I don't.
Oh, hi.
Leon being... Why did he still get that? We're so cooked as a game. He should not have gotten that. You hit him like early, and he still didn't get punished for that. He had conviction. Good job looking up for that.
Wait, homeboy you picked up for...
I'm about to say, kind of just gotta take what you got. He did he try to loop back into Shack? David, you just had to leave. You just had to run straight towards the gate. What are you doing? Looking at basement here does nothing because what makes basement powerful is the idea that like the survivors have to go all the way in, grab the person, and go all the way out. And you're probably there as part of the equation. He is Death Hook. So putting him down here is just making you walk farther for none of the benefit of putting somebody in basement. The only thing you get here is you save a hook, but that's not really an issue right now. Also to note here, whenever somebody goes for a hook save, it does cancel the guard. So this typically wouldn't work. Yeah, just camp here.
It's kind of where we live now.
I don't know why you put your guard out there just to cancel it. I guess maybe you were looking to see if somebody was there. Oh, here comes Leon. As long as you can, yeah, I would say as long as you can block him from attempting a hook save. Yeah, he'll get hit there. Oh. You know that other guy is too far away. You should have got that. If you had swung earlier, you would have had it. Right idea, just not the right execution. If you're trying to use this to like kind of like guard this area to make sure that they don't come back over here, constantly bringing them off cooldown leaves less space for them and time for them to like walk into the guard. If you're just like constantly canceling it, you're not going to hit anybody with this. I'm glad, Adani. That's what I was hoping, was that I would be like, hey, like I said at the beginning, it was two things. It was like, behavior can use this as a tool and also make people feel like they're not making stuff up. You should know he was back there. That's funny. Oh, don't leave. Oh, okay. If Dwight was there, that would have been really bad. Okay. We'll say if Dwight had been there, that would have been really bad. Dwight could have just got that save. Oh, it was scary. Oh, Leon's kind of zoned himself, though. I don't think Leon gets out. I think Leon has zoned himself too deep into the map to get away from the guard. Yeah, because now he's just stuck here with you, even if the guard didn't get him. Okay. Even though the guard didn't get got. or didn't get him, it's like you're gonna get him. So yeah, I feel like history repeated itself. This is very similar to the Springtrap game that I just reviewed for you. You've made almost verbatim all the same mistakes, and you still have the same result of like, despite the fact that all the same mistakes were made, the team mishandled the latter half of the game, and you get a 3K.
Yeah. They're pretty good.
This is one of those games where I don't really need this. There's 2 fast tracks in here, but you got like 2 hooks before endgame, so it's not like fast track actually did anything. Okay, this is gonna be a really, really hard match review, main takeaways to do, because I feel like I have to like kind of give you some tough love here, because like as respectfully as I can put it, you are making all of the exact same mistakes that I already gave you in the last match review, and some of these are mistakes you've had from previous match reviews. I think the first thing I should probably do is go through those so you know what those are. First was the thing I was talking about near the beginning, is that while swinging and whiffing and missing like once or twice, not the end of the world. It all happens to us. We get spun, something happens, but like a lot of the survivors that you're whiffing at aren't even like trying to dodge you. Like they're not even trying to dodge you. You're missing them point blank right next to you constantly. That's not good. At nearly 3,000 hours, you should be able to hit survivors that are directly in front of you. That is something that has gone unaddressed for a really, really long time, which is part of why I'm having to give you tough love about it, because it's like, this shouldn't be a problem that you're having this late in your DBD career. You should be able to hit a survivor comfortably in front of your face that isn't trying to dodge you, isn't trying to spin you or anything. Like, this is something you should already have down pat. This is something that you are behind on. You need to be a little bit more patient. I don't know if it's just like they get up in your face and you get like really excited or anxious about hitting them, but that is something that regardless, you need to be able to hit people that are directly in front of your face. Because if not, like I said, you're going to be in a situation over and over where like all of your chase time gets bloated overall, because a chase that should have ended in like 17 seconds is suddenly a chase that's 23, 26, 37 seconds long, because when you would have had the hit earlier, you missed them, even though it was a free hit. You gotta get rid of that mistake. You gotta rectify that. Another mistake that was also in the last match review, which was also something you were doing, is you gotta stop leaving chase at the drop of a hat. This is once again something I had said in your previous match review that you did in that game too, but continue to do here. I understand that chasing somebody too long can result in like all the survivors working on the gens in the background, and that's bad. But this is the opposite extreme. This is the opposite extreme of like, you don't commit to any chases. And if you don't slug out the survivor, or if you don't hook the survivor, if you just kind of injure them and let them hang out, that doesn't progress the game towards a win. Slugging a survivor does, or hooking a survivor does. Both of these things progress the game towards a possible win, either through a bleed out, 4-man abandoned on the floor, or hooking, which obviously gets them sacrificed and 3v1, 2v1, etc. Just injuring them and leaving them constantly does not and will not result in a victory no matter what. They will just go heal, they'll go reset, and they'll come right back to it. You gotta commit to chases. You can't be not committing to chases for the entire game besides once or twice. You will lose all your games doing that. The third thing, which was also something else that I've talked about to you before, is that you gotta stop kicking either before or mid chase. It doesn't matter if you have gen perks. Like I said in the example that we gave in the middle of the game, unless you have something like a pop that's about to like wind down and you're about to lose access to, like, your pop goes the weasel, so you might as well kick the gen instead of losing it. There's really few instances where you should be stopping before a chase, like you start a chase or in the middle of a chase to stop and kick a generator. There's little to no reason to do that. And it's also something that I've warned you about before that you continue to do. For this specific game, for your fourth takeaway, you need to figure out what the guards do, because you seem to be using them very uniformly. Like Carnifex does all the same things that Assassin does, and then that the Guard does, but that's not true. They all have their individual niches that they're good at. Carnifex is more of the breaker. Assassin's more of the chaser. Guard's more of the wider kind of like goalie kind of play style, and their chase time can get people stuck doing nothing for a very long period of time. They all have their niches that make them special. And it's kind of like a Swiss Army knife. You break out one for one situation, but not the other. But you treated them all fairly uniformly, and this resulted in you feeling powerless. Like, not like powerless like you could do nothing, but like you were giant man with sword because you were not using the power to its fullest extent because you didn't understand it. Yeah. And this is the part that I'm struggling with, because I don't want to be mean in any way, shape, or form, but if I'm being fully transparent, it does kind of frustrate me very slightly that I took the time to make the match review for you last time with Springtrap, and I went, and all of the takeaways except for one were the exact same things that I said last time, and there was another takeaway or two that I had repeated on previous match reviews you've already submitted a long time ago as well. I love helping people. I love trying to help people improve at the game of Dead by Daylight, and so does everybody here that is currently in the chat. That's why we do it here, because a lot of you guys are smarter than me in a lot of ways that I don't see. Whether you're a specific character expert, there's a perk interaction I don't know about, or a strategy that's better on a character that I wasn't aware of. We take time out of our day every Monday to try and help people get better at the game of Dead by Daylight by teaching you more consistent habits. We could theoretically just keep playing DBD matches all day, because that's what we start off with before we switch over. We take the time to stop to help you. So the point I'm trying to get at here is, if I'm going to be giving you the same takeaways week after week after week, there's no point. If I'm going to give you advice and you're going to, either through purpose or accident, ignore it week after week after week, there's no point. Because we could be using that time on somebody else's match review and giving them more time because they want to soak that in, and they want to learn, and they got that drive in them to get better. If you just want to submit games and not listen to any of the advice, this isn't the point. That's not the point of this. I don't know what's going on your end. I don't know what your motivations are. I don't know why the takeaways aren't landing, but they're not. So I want to say very firmly, unfortunately, I do have to say very firmly, if you're not going to listen to the takeaways, it's not worth submitting. And if I have like one more like match like this, another match review where it's like the same things that I've told you over and over again, I'm probably going to stop reviewing these. I'm just being honest about that, because time is a precious resource. We're not going to spend a very focused, let's stop and help people get better tool on people that don't want to get better. So, yeah, sorry. It's boring. It's sad. It feels very intense. But it's like, that's just the reality of it. There's just not enough time to go around in life, so we can't spend it helping people that don't want to be helped. So if you want to like really lock in and start taking these takeaways to heart, I'm down to keep reviewing your games. But if you have no interest in learning, not my business. Simple as that. Hopefully you take it in the former and not the latter.